Hello everyone, can you see and hear me? I had some weird message come up saying that live streaming is not possible at the moment. Let's see if it's still here. Look, I don't know if you can see it in the background here in my hall of mirrors. So I don't know what the hell that means. I've never seen that before, but it also says I'm live. So please tell me in the chat, are we live on this beautiful Friday afternoon? I know there's a bit of a delay, so I shall sit here possibly talking to myself until I hear something. Adam Sand says, afternoon guys. Is that to me? Is that to everyone? I don't know. God, this is awkward. All good, says Goodman. Hi Luke, says Irons. Brilliant. So it's working then. Good stuff. Love to see it. Right, yeah, a bit of a rush and not planned. Basically, I'm working all weekend. I worked until fucking crazy hours last night. I missed the stream, unfortunately, and I can't guarantee that I'll be available for Sunday. Plus, I've got a little bit of a trick up my sleeve for the leak this week, trying to keep them interesting. The plan is to hold some sort of press conference video, and I would prefer that was live, which then gives me a very short turnaround. If I'm going to do it Sunday, then I run the sim, then I'd have to do it Monday where I'm at work, and then there's the people who have to lock in their team early, the core team, and then they have less time to make their decisions. So basically it all makes sense to just bring this forward, and hopefully Saturday or Sunday at some point I shall do some sort of live video as a press conference. So obviously, after I've simmed, I'll have the information of who starts, etc., and then I'll plan around that. Might give a lot of info for some teams, none for others. It could be terrible. You could not like it. It could end up tricking you. I don't fucking know. We'll see how it goes. But it's for 1 week, and if people don't like it, we'll bin it. Pep talk in the chat. Patio Finity. Who the fuck's that? Oh, was this with the Irish theme last night? I did watch the stream back. That's Andy, isn't it? Hello, mate. Nice red t-shirt. Cheers, mate. I think I've worn this on my last 2 videos I've done for Fantasy Football Scout, so that's not a good look, is it? Lockdown. Sounds good to you, Tim. That's good. Beautiful face and hair is seen. Hopefully not mine. Can't be me. Right. There's been quite a lot of news, isn't there? Well, I suppose you don't know, but in terms of the cups, that's been put out there. I did the stats this morning because Rob Pick didn't do them; he refuses to do so. The bastard, but very good comms, I thought. Yeah, so some of the highlights for me, just very, very briefly on the results. I mean, there was lots of goals, which is great. The only clean sheets were Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United, which, most weeks you would expect those guys to be in the running, so that was fairly, say, semi-predictable, although clean sheets aren't. This was a personal highlight of mine. Newcastle decided to drop Shay Given and start Otto Fredriksson. As you can see, he's not particularly good. He's not the ultimate worst. They did sign this guy on a Bosman. We know new signings get a bump. He does play for Finland, or did at some point. So maybe one to watch out for. Maybe he becomes the new guy. Anyway, I think that being Shay Given is now on that list of goalkeepers who don't play every game, as people who got Nash this week, only for Weaver to turn up, found out. It does, once a goalkeeper rotates, it's quite often a common theme. So, yeah, I don't think many have got Shay Given, but something to look out for. The other thing that I found hilarious is they decided to start, and they've had some problems at centre back, Adam Foster, who is 18 years old and is utter shite. Like, we're talking monk levels of shiteness. Jumping 8. And his positioning's 13, it's not the worst. Passing, he's quite quick, fair enough. But, yeah, leaves a lot to be desired, as you can see. So, probably the biggest mystery of the game week was how Malcolm Christie, who was on the right side, didn't manage to bag. Apparently he was pretty good in Sims for this game as well, and he had a stinker himself. No shots, nothing. I mean, he's running away from the goal, but maybe that's partly to do with it. But I think Craig Kemp got him in, the guy who does the pods, and it could have been a masterstroke. Just variance was shit. So I found that quite funny. Watford as well decided to bring in Robert Wells, who, again, another 18-year-old. He fares slightly better though, jumping and heading, very, very good. He was on the right side, so he played against Fowler. So it wasn't against Owen in the end, but Still, just having a shaky centre-back partnership, not particularly good. Positioning's not great. His key stats aren't that bad, actually, to be fair, but could have potentially been another brutal one. And Owen delivered again anyway. But as you can see, very efficient. Didn't win any headers. Barely did any passes. Just 2 shots, 2 on target, 2 goals. Oh, brilliant. A daytime stream. Perfect whilst packing to move house, FPL Richie. Oh, mate. Well, dip in and out. Moving house, very stressful. I've got to do that soon as well, hopefully. Sold my house. And had an offer accepted, so waiting for it all to go through. Joe Kinnear said the quickest to the pitch starts at centre-back. Yeah. Okay. Kevin fucking Phillips. What is this guy up to? He's doing my tits in. He's still like, I mean, you look at those stats and you think, what's the problem? It's been weeks of nothing. He's really starting to do my nut in, he is. Surely it comes good soon. But I think they play like, yeah, they're playing Liverpool at home, so I'm not holding my breath on that one. Dion Dublin, as the stats went out, fantastic this week. Targeting Charlton, it just wins so many more times than it loses. I mean, you could have gone for Hendry, for example, and it not paid off. You can see here he got 4 key passes, though, more than any other midfielder. It's safe to assume that his chances that he set up led to some shots on target here as well, considering there was quite a lot that didn't go in. So he could have ended up with a haul assists, and it went to Hadji this time. Millwall as well. I mean, Spurs, people are saying this new McLeish setup is pretty dreadful for them, but they've done all right since, but I think it's more to do with the fixtures than anything. I mean, Spurs did pretty good overall, and I don't think they're particularly good away from home with this setup. So targeting Millwall and Charlton is still very, very valid. Nicholas Alexanderson being on penalties was a surprise to me. Normally it's Evans if he plays, but Evans came on in the 65th minute and the penalty was in the 20th, so maybe it would have been different if he obviously was on the pitch. Alexanderson, I'm told, has got a random pen stat, so it must be fairly high, at least higher than everyone else on the pitch, or maybe equal to someone. Doesn't guarantee he'll be on it moving forward. I think Savarese sometimes takes them. He wasn't playing either, so it's just one of those happenstance things, but increases his stock definitely. Hendry's my number 1 troll this season, says John Shanley. Yeah, he's kind of a player I think you either get him and you just hold him season long like Stolzers and he'll just pop up, and at the end of the season he will have been value like 100%, but sort of chopping and changing, bringing him out doesn't seem to work, so there is an argument just to totally avoid him. I mean, those aren't massive returns, but they are okay for his price. I think it's because there's other players that have just done so fantastic. I mean, like De Boer at 6 million, for example, makes a mockery of that. But the De Boer thing's, I keep saying it's unsustainable, but there we go. He keeps doing it. Don't talk to me about Alexanderson Luke too early, says Pep Talk. Yes, I did see, watch you back on the stream, you benched him. Unsurprising. Do you think it's worth keeping Evans, says Arthur? I don't. I had him in my dead team simply because he is lethal when he plays, so I thought he was the perfect first man, because if he doesn't play, it will skip to my second man. However, he seems to be coming on a lot more often, and generally doesn't start that many times. So if I was playing properly, I wouldn't have Evans. Although he's obviously good if he's on the pitch. So I just wait for an injury. If Cahill or McKinley get injured, then you can move to him, I think. Joe Finley, Badov, Hadji captain. Yes! I forgot you were doing that this season. Love that. Finally comes through. Legend. Nice, I like that. And he did well in the cup as well, I believe, didn't he? Anyway, you guys can see all these stats as we posted them. Man United could have done a little bit better. Again, they've kind of got this habit, haven't they? So one week they look like they can score a load of goals, and then next week they're just efficient. Veron, loads of key headers here. 2 shots, 2 on target. Nothing to worry about. His points will come back again. Arsenal, 4 shots, 4 on target for Omri. Could have been more. He's actually been really good at either side of his injury. Terrible start to the season, but it's really picking up now, and he's always in the frame for bonus, isn't he? So I know people much malign Omri, and he's a bit of a stigma pick from season 1, but this was the start, I think, of his great fixture run. And to be honest, I think he scored. Did he score against Man United as well? I think he did. He scored against Man United in the cup before that. 1-0 against Chelsea. So even in the hard games against Bolton as well. So that's his first game back from injury. So he didn't score in his first game back from injury. It was now scored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games running, and he's still got an excellent run. Is Luke Chadwick not really David Beckham? Yeah, he's been pretty shit, hasn't he? I fail to understand how a winger for Man United can't do better, especially one who has got good key attributes for what is required. His direct passing style does seem to favour going through the middle. But again, at 5 million, I can't help but think it will be value. You will get early subs. You will be frustrating, but you basically need Man United to score goals for him to be involved. Quite a lot of them, don't you? And sometimes they don't. I honestly don't have the answers on that one. I'd be so tempted just to hold him and hope it changes. Right, quickly have a look at the cups. You saw the results. So basically, we've got no blanks now in the immediacy anyway, which is frustrating. No double game week, etc. However, I don't think that's completely the end of it. I think the later games, I'm not the best on fixtures and stuff. Tala, Andy in the chat, they know their stuff. But I think semi-finals can cause some issues later on down the line. We've still potentially got a Man United triple if they go far in Europe. So don't be disheartened if you've got your chips. Stuff like triple captain, for example, if you've still got that, I would hold off just in the hope that Man United get a triple or something later on, personally. I think bench boost is pretty throwaway. You can use that anytime your bench looks good. And free hit, maybe just wait for some really bad injuries or maybe one of those doubles that does come up. As we've got 2, I feel like they're not. Now we've not got this big double and big blank. I think it's perfectly valid to use them whenever. There isn't very often draws in this game, so you know it was kind of expected there wouldn't be that many replays, but there is obviously variance and it could have been completely different. Everton started with a bang. Kerisos in his first game, assist and goal. It was against Torquay though. Oh, we've also had a signing as well. Did I mention that? We've had a signing, which may shake up a first team player. In fact, I'm pretty sure it will. And while I'm here, actually, let's chat Effrington. Effrington now, so they've played this 4-4-2 twice. Effrington started 2 times. He's now going to come into the game as a 4.5 million midfielder. And although this was in a cup against Stoke, it's 2 assists. People who play the game, Effrington ends up playing for England quite often. And he's got really good dribbling stats, which is generally a pretty good thing for a left winger. He's not the world's best player by any means, but he is very handy. So 4.5 million midfielder on the wing for Spurs is pretty damn good. The only thing I will say is that Fortune is still injured, I believe, or he's now back. Yeah, he's now back. So he's not nailed. If he was, I think he would jump to near the top of the 4.5 million list, if not the top. So one to keep an eye on. Selakovic has also done pretty well since the change as well, hasn't he, being up front. I am going to click on the League Cup here as well. So I don't know if we tweeted this out yet, but the first leg of the semi-final in the League Cup was played for some teams, and this was the result. So Chelsea beat Aston Villa 4-1. As you can see, a little bit of rep involved here, as it is a League Cup and it's a low rep competition, so they didn't play their full team. But Chelsea firmly in the driving seat now. Gronkiel 2 goals, Zenden with another assist, Forsell with a goal, Leon Knight even scored coming off the bench. Aston Villa, they went with their full team. I assumed Alan Thompson would have been cup tied. So they went with their full team and Dublin started. And Dublin scored with an assist to Angel. So there is a second leg, which we'll click on in a sec. Man United played Ipswich. Ipswich went pretty much, they've got so many players now, it's hard to know who is their first team, but that looks pretty close to it. Clapham actually played as a centre-back. Justin Miller played as a centre-back, and McGreal. So the centre-backs were very much not first choice. But the rest of the guys, you could argue, would be in and around it. Marcus Stewart coming off injured. Man United battered them though. Chadwick scored, 3 shots, 2 on target. Loads of headers for Van Nistelrooy. 8 key headers, 8 shots, 5 on target. Baron with the assist, Giggs with the assist. It looks pretty much full strength, doesn't it? Keane might have been suspended for this one. So they're in the driving seat as well because they now are at home to Ipswich. Of course they could rep, but there we go. So the second round is on the Wednesday the 19th for Aston Villa versus Chelsea, 19th of February. So later on this month. And 26th of February for Man United Ipswich. I'm not sure whether they cause blanks or not. Again, hopefully the guys in the chat can help me, but they're certainly not on the fixture list at the moment. Just going to click through. Just counting them in my head quickly. I appreciate it's too fast for you guys, but it's all 10 fixtures so far. Yeah. So there's nothing in the table at the moment anyway, at least, or scheduled I should say. Right. Chelsea should play the midweek after 31. Yeah, so I think it's all midweeks. Again, go to Tala Nadeem, go to his Twitter. I think he's in his pinned tweet. If you haven't bookmarked it already, do so. It's basically the equivalent of Season 1's Ben Krellin's fixture spreadsheet. And it shows you exactly where those games fit. And I believe they are midweek, yes. Final is in game week 31, Craig Kemp says, and that will cause blanks. Okay, so not something to particularly worry about right now, but obviously you know the teams that are involved and therefore the teams that could. You can kind of work out already, I suppose, from those games. Let's just go back. I can't remember who it was. So you'd expect Chelsea and Man United, wouldn't you, to be going through at the moment. So if Chelsea and Man U are in the final, I assume that causes Man United and Chelsea to blank in 31. So that's a reasonable assumption. They can play midweek after 31 though, Andy's saying. Okay. Ignore everything I'm saying. Look at Tyler's spreadsheet. Right. Should we go through the teams then, guys? Should we do that? There's been a little bit of news. I'm going to start at the opposite end for once. And before I do that, I'm going to show you the fixtures one more time. Oh, but Man United can't be involved if they're in the Champions League quarter-final. Okay, so we really need them to progress in Europe then. I think they're still bottom or third in their league. We'll have a look in a second, but still a chance. So these guys all play today. Arsenal, Newcastle, Villa, Man United, one extra day to recover. And Everton at home to Charlton is on the Monday, so 2 days. Is that David Unsworth 7-goal territory? Who knows? Champions League. These are the fixtures for Champions League. Man United at home to Feyenoord on the 12th of February. So if I go to Man United, they've got 3 games before then. So still a way off. I'll just show you the tables quickly in case you have forgotten. Man United bottom 1 point. They got Feyenoord home and away, so they really need to pick up some points in those games to have a chance. 6 points from those 2, then we're in for a shout. Okay, sidetracked again. Let's go to Watford at the bottom one, aren't they? They are. Okay. Today, away to Millwall. Here is how everyone is looking at percent-wise. Looks like no injuries, everyone fit. Bardson wanted by a couple of teams, leaving on the Bodsman. Cox leaving. Wants first team football. That might be why he's not featuring. But yeah, Petkov, Smith, Helgeson, they are all good. And they've got away to Millwall, home to Everton, home to Arsenal, away to Ipswich. I'd say even away to Millwall was just a great game, because Millwall at home attack and they leave open spaces, and Watford are pretty offensive. So this could be a good game for your Watford assets. I think if you have Petkov or you still have Helgeson, you definitely want to play him, in my opinion. You think? Do I think Gale is on free kicks now? He often is, because they can share them. So where's Gale gone? I mean, he took one this week, didn't he? He's got 20 for free kicks, if I remember rightly. 20 for set pieces, and penalties. He's obviously got a very high intrinsic stat, so takes them off of Petkov. They've both got 20, so as we know, that means that they can chop and change within game, each other game. Long story short, Gale being in the lineup affects Petkov, obviously, for the fact that he can take set pieces, which he scored one, didn't he? And penalties away, which is not ideal, is it? So it's kind of annoying that he's playing in midfield centre as well. So we kind of need, Swanell, etc., to play, or them to sign some midfielders. And I think they are interested in Edu, aren't they? So that would be ideal, because I think that would end Gale. Is Gale nailed? I don't think so. Give Gale his drugs ban, he's on steroids. Yeah, it's fairly handy if he actually plays, but I hope he doesn't continue to kill Petkov anyway. Because if you're taking away penalties and set pieces from Petkov, he's basically got a wing spot and a fairly offensive team, which isn't ideal, is it? Right, Spurs. They play today away to Man City. Not a particularly good game in my opinion. Ziga is 1 week, 90%. Seen him play 90% a few times though, so that could happen. Everyone else is fine, and Fortune is back, as I touched on earlier. Everson, still unhappy as he wants a new contract. So it'd be interesting to see if they go with Etherington again this week. I doubt they will, but if they do, yeah, suddenly we've got the 4.5 like I've talked about. I don't think it's a particularly good run. That's a pretty bad game. Home to Sunderland. I suppose these two are okay, but then Liverpool, Chelsea. Probably time to remove. Maybe Selakovic up front as a punt. Sunderland. David Bellion is 3 months. That's long term. Medina is a few days with a damaged heel, injured during training. Sorts is 3 weeks away. It's been out for ages. I don't expect him to feature when he comes back. I think his stats have dropped off too much. And then Michael Gray is 2 weeks injured during training. So that is vaguely interesting, because Julio Arca, who's been pretty much a permanent figure at left wing, did play a lot at left back last season and interchange with Gray, which hasn't happened this season very much. However, on pricing sims, Arca played left mid almost exclusively, except when Gray was injured, sometimes he would play left back. Now, I don't think it completely dampens his output. He's still pretty damn good in that position. However, it's something to be aware of. He could now play left back. Of course, they do have other left backs. They've got Paul Mayo, who has played as a sub once. And they've got they've got Lawson, who could play at left back if need be. They've also got, where's he gone? I've seen them play Bart Williams there, but where's the other guy? Defender, left, right, centre. They sold him. Or am I missing him? Who am I thinking of, guys? Who plays at the back in all positions? Oh, McCartney, there he is. So he's still here as well. Arca now has home to Liverpool, away to Spurs, away to Chelsea, home to Man United. So I think that, combined with the fact that Gray's injured, gives you a reasonable reason to release him, right? I wouldn't expect too much over that. But Sunderland have been random, doing shit against good teams and good against shit against bad teams and good against good teams. So who knows? Newcastle, the very, very happy squad. Stephen Hughes still 1 yellow away from a ban. Robert is wanted by Lyon and Nantes. He's lost confidence in his manager's ability. Yeah, you and us all, mate. So maybe he gets signed, which nearly all the squad's pissed off with him. So you could argue it may help them if you believe that morale and stuff has an effect. That would be interesting. Left wing then would become, Bellamy can play there. We've seen a few. When Robert was out, did Hughes go to left wing? I think he may have. Spee's been involved before, so it could cause some interesting knock-on effects. Yes, this is the preview stream, Christoph. Glad you're keeping up. Marcelino's due to join Atletico Madrid. Maybe that's why he hasn't been featuring and they're rolling out the likes of Foster. It does seem that unhappiness and people being transferred and stuff like that does have an effect on squad selection. So Newcastle are just very, no one's really going there at the moment, but because of the sheer state of the squad, unhappiness and transfers, it's very hard to know who's going to play. Still, Big Al's decent, isn't he? Who do they play? Away to Arsenal. Not particularly good, but Arsenal will be attacking. Long ball. Shearer up against, Tavlardidis or whoever. Could do okay, I suppose, but you wouldn't bank on anything. And then the few fixtures after that, the next three, Villa, Leicester, Man City, they're not the worst. The thing with Newcastle is even if the sim data says they score on average 1 goal against Arsenal, I imagine it'll be around 1 or even less. It's likely to be Shearer who gets that one, isn't it? Foster was the only one that Kinnear saw smiling in the canteen. Yeah. He's lost the dressing room. He's got to turn to the kids. I think I saw Jose Mourinho has asked a load of kids to join training this week as well in real life. So maybe parallels there. Condition-wise, yeah, nothing of real note. None of these guys really play. Bernard's out for 2 weeks. Millwall. Goalkeepers suspended for 1 game. I think Nurse played again last week, didn't he? Yeah, Nurse played again over Ashwood. Evans is 1 yellow away from a ban, if he actually plays. Savarese is back. He has transfer listed by request, but now wants to stay. I would have thought he comes straight back in, but can never be too sure. And this guy doesn't play. He's injured. So there we go. Not a great run for them by any means, but I think Alexanderson is still a very good bet as just bench filler in the occasional good matchup then play him. Home to Watford, you could start him this week all day. Alexanderson pen stats, they are random, Goodman. They are 0. So without me looking in the editor, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I try to avoid doing that really because I like to keep some of the mystery. I use it for the reputation of clubs, and I've done it for the potential ability on a few players. But the evidence is there, right? When Savarese and Evans weren't on the pitch, he took them, so he's at least in front of everyone else at the moment, it seems. I often don't do it because it doesn't tell you much as well. It can lead you to think that certain things are going to happen. Often in this game, someone with a penalty stat worse than someone else will just randomly take one. The game doesn't go on their penalty stats alone. It goes on some sort of mystery algorithm that we can't work out. Kane has done next to nothing this season, and he is usually pretty good. Fairly consistent. Where is Kane? Where has he gone? Here he is. I'm on him. Yeah, that's pretty woeful, isn't it? He often takes set pieces as well, so I'm surprised it's so low. Evans playing more than he should at the beginning took some set pieces away from him. Maybe that's partially an excuse. They've had their... Harris was out at the beginning of the season, then Savarese's got red cards and injuries a lot. I don't know, but it doesn't help when their strikers are doing. I mean, they're doing absolutely fuck all, aren't they? Harris 1 goal in 18. Harris plays for England most of the time, by the way. In my current save, Neil Harris is a starting centre forward for England. Got signed by Chelsea and does pretty good. So you know, this is the variance thing. How's Kinney going to get assists, which he's mainly good for, when the strikers aren't scoring any goals? It's not going to happen, is it? Again, playing Eiffel up top, he's a good player, but he's not a centre forward. He's literally good for pace, that's it. Finishing's okay, but 9 for strength, jumping low, bravery, aggression. He ain't going to win anything in the air, ever. These are all these little intricacies that can just make such a difference to play a sim on sim, and why pricing them is so difficult. Because you never know what you're going to get. Middlesbrough. So the keen-eyed amongst you will have noticed that Boxic died in the FA Cup. Was it the FA Cup? It was in the league. Boxic 0%. Didn't come off injured in the game. It either happened at the very end. Let's have a look. There's no mention of it. This does happen quite often though. So yeah, when the stats went out, a few people noticed that Boxic died. I can confirm. He then didn't play in the cup. Noel Whelan, old favourite, back. And he's dead for 2 weeks. To rise again from his strained ankle ligaments. So yeah, that's kind of annoying. Rickard's probably been doing better than him recently, I think. 19 games, 11-1-2. He didn't start the season, Rickard, because he had a bad injury, didn't he? 24, 13, 1-3. So yeah, Boxic got a few more goals, but in more games. Higher average rating, but not by much. Pricing sims of Forrest Gump, never know what you're going to get. Yeah, more like I'm Forrest Gump for mentioning that sentence. He literally gave 100%, Captain. He did. He gave it all. So if you've got Boxic, that's 2 weeks, isn't it? Which is a reasonable amount of games. It's 3 league games there in a week almost. And then there's a break, and then 23rd. So probably back for away to Millwall. Misses Derby, Leicester, Leeds. That's kind of annoying. Of course, he could go orange at any point and then play, but that's a get rid for me. Rickard is more than viable. Depression says you were looking to get him in. Yeah, I mean Rickard's fine. It's debatable who's better anyway, hence why they're both 8.5. Emerson Boyce is a few days away, 90%. Almost got him back then. A month for Bradley Jones. And Ian Pearce is also a few days, 90%. Ian Pearce coming back should hopefully make a difference to them. Been pretty woeful while he's been away. I think it's more chance than anything else. Stockdale is still banned for 1 more game. Fester is still wanted by Man United. Atherton is a yellow away from being banned. Zabade is 100%. 67777. Didn't return last week. Is this the end of Zabeda? I fucking hope so. Did he do anything in the cup? He did not. Still 3 shots though. I don't think there's any reason to get rid of him yet. Still got reasonable games, but his overperformance is pretty damn high. However, he is a winger and he's playing against Derby this week. So you can almost book in the haul. Even Robert and Dyer managed to return this week playing against Derby. It is mad. So I certainly wouldn't look to get rid of him for the Derby game. Man United don't want Gordon anymore. Let's have a look. Yeah, they don't. Must have moved their attention to a left winger. The thing is, Gordon is... I know we think of him as a defender, obviously, because that's where his position, but the game prefers him at midfield left. And now they're interested in Nedved. So it's funny to think that they were eyeing up Gordon and then decided, nah, do you know what, we might go for Nedved instead, like they're comparable. But it looks like they're after a left winger. Not happy with Giggs, who's one of the probably the best winger in the game. Although he's not performed that well in our game. In key stats, he is quite comfortably, I think. I think the only other person who can come close to him quite often is Z Roberto, can do very well. Although this patch is not particularly good. I think in the next one, 6.8, 6.8, he's done good when he plays for Bayern. Starts at Leverkusen in this one. Yeah, tough choice between Gordon and Nedved, isn't it? Okay, here's Man United. I didn't skip a team, did I? I did not. Roque Jr. is out for 3 weeks with a groin strain. Probably makes Gary Neville slightly more appealing. Wes Brown, potentially. Arca as well, Andy's saying. Yeah, good point. Arca can do very well. He's got that -2 ability, though, isn't he? Whereas potential ability isn't always massively high. In our game, it is massively high. So he is a little bit hit and miss. I mean, look at these stats for Ryan Giggs. It's utterly ridiculous that he doesn't... I mean, he's performing. His average rating's high and he's getting a few more assists and goals, but... yeah, I mean, he may end the season in sort of around 15, 16 assists in 38 games if he was to play all of them, which would be a pretty damn good return. He just needs a few more goals for me. Enjoying playing for the club, proud, 18 million, ridiculous stats. Injured for 10 days, knee ligaments. Peter Carter rarely buy wingers in the game. Yeah, that's another good point, neither do I. However, you can play the wingers in the central position, as in one's in the centre midfield to either side going up, and wingers perform very well in that spot as well, even if they're not trained. Robin as well, it obviously gets ridiculously good. He plays well there. But yeah, 10 days for Giggsy, so probably helps Chadwick because it gives him another spot that he can play as well, not that he needs it. Jordic, who can be pretty good, could play there. They play tomorrow. Whoops. Why has it gone to... I didn't click that, did I? No, he's a midfield centre as well, Connexton. Yeah, on Nedved actually, so I'm just going to click it now. Wanted by Barcelona and Man United. Seen him go to Barcelona quite a lot. He's obviously got very good stats for a winger. He's also got 20 for long shots. He's off the ball's great. His pace, crossing. I mean, everything's good. He is a very good player. Stats have gone up quite a lot as well. They don't always start as good as this, so he's developed a reasonable amount in that year. These stats are made up because we don't have the league running, so I would completely ignore them. He can play in the centre. I just see it, and I have seen that before, but he is just more often a left winger. So for me, he would replace Giggs probably, but because Giggs has got incredible ability, high reputation, everything as well, I'm not sure how nailed that would make. It's so hard to judge because even if you were to now sim it and stick Nedved in, you're not going to be able to replicate, you know, the changing ability, rep, everything when a player's signed naturally in the game. So it's very hard to know. When you play in this game and you have Nedved, you can make him perform extremely well, like really well. I usually play him as like an AMC more than anything, or off to the left slightly. If you do wingers, he can do well as well. So it's extremely hard to know. So in my mind, I think we're probably looking at Giggs is 9.5, and he probably replaces Giggs, and he can't be much worse than what Giggs has been. So probably go for 10 million just to be sure. There's a chance he plays in centre midfield, so they could go Veron, Nedved in centre and just bin off Keane, but I can't see it because Keane's ability and reputation is so high, and they generally only play one attacking midfielder in most games. Giggs can't play on the right at all, as far as I'm aware. Depression. I cannot see any scenario where he displaces Veron. Again, his ability and reputation is so high. But there's a chance, we'll have to see. Fuck off Roy Keane. Nah, I can't see him doing it. Could do. I mean, they could make it easy for us and sell one of the other guys. Giggs often moves in season 2 or 3. Beckham does. Keane does. A lot of them go to Celtic or Italy. Veron as well. That whole midfield can get poached, so there's still time. Be interesting. I hope it happens. because similar to the Rui Costa thing, it's just gone on forever and nothing's happened, right? So I'd like to see it happen just to shake things up. Yeah, imagine that. Chadwick lives to fight another day. Yeah, you'd be starting Chadwick with Beckham and Giggs on the bench because of the way it works. Mental. Okay, Man City, they played today. Svensson, who was injured previously, is now orange, 90%, a few days. Caveman Handjob, aka Paul Dickoff, is 3 weeks. Celtic or Italy, yeah. Yeah, Keane's great. It's got to be playing every game. Everyone else is okay. Bonchop is 100%. He did get injured last game, didn't he? He did. So he came off injured in this game and they went down to 10 men as a result because they've made their 3 subs. Nicky Weaver's 4 games, 12 conceded, average 5.5. I'd expect Nash to come back in if you've got Nash, but it's not 100%. In the cup, Nash played. But yeah, Bonchop's back fit again. So obviously just a small injury. Liverpool. Rips in the chat for Kirkland, everyone. RIP. Caveman Handjob. As if he didn't have an unfortunate name already. Yeah. I've managed to eat... Wait, Duzatelli. I've just managed to eat the centre of a Chubba Chob while keeping the totally separated top and bottom parts still on the stick. Techers, gentlemen. You either got or you don't. Yes, I'm 43. Fucking hell. Some logistics perform with your tongue there, mate, and teeth. Fair play. A sought after man. Yeah, some shenanigans here. Rips in the chat for Kirkland. 1%. 10 days with a hip injury. Hegem is 2 weeks away. 90%. Was not a bad asset when he was with us. So one to keep an eye on. And frustratingly for anyone who decided to go Huncho, he's out for a week with a twisted knee. This guy is just so unreliable, unfortunately, despite him being fantastic. 65%. And they play today. So I cannot see him starting that one. It would be a surprise. Sometimes when people are orange, they jump up a random amount. But the game's on the same day as, you know, I literally have to click the button. So it would surprise me to hell. He's in Graceland now. Gerrard is still 2 months away. Craig, I know you've got Hancho. So sorry, mate. Doesn't look like he'll be playing this one. Hippie is 100%. Wants a new contract. We want some more bonus points, mate. You've been slacking. We'll let you off, though, when you seem to get attacking returns every game. And that's why he didn't play in the cup, Honcho. Stephen Wright got an assist in his place. Fair play. Partridge getting all his returns in Europe, just brilliant. 4 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 2 man of the match. In the cup, 3 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, man of the match, 8.33, 8 average in the continental. International, 1 game, 2 assists, man of the match, 9. And in the league, fuck all. Surely has to change at some point. Leicester. Who's texting me? I'm busy. Rockstar. Fuck off, mate. No offence. I know he does ChampMan leaks for us as well. Leicester City. Joby McAnuff, 10 days with a sprained ankle. Darren Eady is a few days with a strained neck. Potentially both their wingers miss out then. Could see Delaney left wing. Maybe. What did they do last game? They did in fact play Delaney left wing. If you've got Delaney, who are they playing? They're at home to Bolton. Consideration. 2 on the wing versus 1. Double up with Delaney left wing. 4.5 million defender. If you got him, I think you got to start him. Does Murphy normally get rotated? He does. He does. I'm assuming you mean Danny Murphy. Yes, they've got lots of midfielders. It's well known that they sort of mess around with all of them. In fact, the likes of Smeetser is usually a lot better than this. He's been injured, but he's more often the right midfielder. Him or Barmby. And those two are generally the preferred wingers. Again, injuries and stuff have kind of set them back, and Partridge came in, and then his rep and ability would have increased as a result of him getting games, so suddenly he looks like he's now in front of them all. But they're all fairly close. I mean, Murphy's not a particularly great winger. He quite often takes pens as well, so he can be good, but I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. I did Leicester, didn't I? Yeah. Wants a new contract, Delaney. Leeds. Michael Bridges, we knew about, 3 months, broken leg. Keegan's 10 days. It's not important. Decor is still a month away, 23%, despite being orange. So that's a long period of time he's going to be orange for now. Can play in reserve games or turn up, so he might be out for the season if they decide to do that. Hopefully not. Everyone else is back fit. Viduka is back from his ban. Feels he has no support from his manager. Unhappy at the treatment of a teammate. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know what was happened there. Maybe we'll look through the news section and see what happened. Someone got chewed a new arsehole, it seems. Ian Hart, yes. So that's the other factor. Harpal Singh got injured. And he's out for 2 weeks with strained knee ligaments. Not as long as I would have hoped, bless him. Feels he has no support from his manager. Maybe he's chewed them all out. It's out for 2 weeks. So outside of Leeds repping, that means that, and they shouldn't rep at home to Ipswich because they're high rep, Chelsea and Middlesbrough. Charlton's on the 22nd, so what's that? Yeah, that's outside of those 2 weeks. So it looks like Ian Hart is good for the next 3 games. They're not great games by any means. Home to Ipswich is decent. Away to Chelsea. You would have thought that would be low scoring. And then away to Middlesbrough. Probably concede in that game, but could score quite a few. So he's a tempter. Not 2 years, is it? Maybe Viduka's not happy with Hart being benched. Let's just have a look through the news, because sometimes they call something out in the media. Oh, why is it? Mouse is on super mode. Viduka praised. Okay, there we go. So those of you that play the game know that sometimes this will happen in the media, and then the manager has the choice to big up the praise, no comment it, or play it down. So despite he says treatment of a teammate, it wouldn't surprise me if the manager, and you should always praise in this scenario by the way, has played it down, which pisses them off. So I bet that's what's happened. Treatment of a... Rui Costa could soon make a 21.5 million move to AC Milan, from Milan to Roma. Criticism of McAteer. Alpine's blast at the club. See, all this stuff you don't really get to know about, but it doesn't usually affect too much. Alex. Yeah, he gets good. So yeah, not clear about what the teammate thing is, but I wouldn't be... Feels he has no support from his manager. That is almost going to be certainly that he didn't big him up in the media. The unhappy treatment of a teammate, that'll probably be someone getting fined for no reason. Maybe turned up late, some shit like that we're not going to know about unless we could find out. Feels he's been victimised by his manager or something. Let's have a look. Feels he has no support from his manager, so that could be Harpal Singh that was chewed out, and then therefore Viduka was pissed off that Singh had to go out. That's the most likely scenario at the moment. Sorry, I'm on a vendetta now. It must be that. Hopes that Martinelli will remain manager for a very long time. Get off his dick, Larson. We know you were with him before this. I'm bored of clicking. So it looks like Singh got slated and Viduka's not happy about that, and then the media bigged up Viduka and the manager said he's shit. Well done, Martin O'Neill. Good effort. Ipswich. Marcus Stewart, a weak bruised shin, 64% plays today, so he's not going to play, is he? Guardso is wanted by randoms, Sundowns, etc. And Hariderson, who went off injured in the last game, 3 weeks he is out. That's not good news for Ipswich overall, because he's obviously very good. McGreal is wanted by Fulham and Naylor's wanted by Brentford still. Hariderson being out adds to the chances of Doherty playing at centre-back, but then Marcus Stewart is out, adds to the chances of him playing up front. Ipswich team is now incredibly hard to predict. They've got so many players in and around the same ability. I don't know what to advise there, apart from, as you can see, it's probably wise to play Doherty nearly every week just in case, simply because of if he scores, it's what, 6 points, isn't it, per goal? And I'm sure there is going to be a game where they do get a clean sheet and he gets a goal at some point, and you're going to be gutted when that happens. Redknapp, 5 million on penalties, 5 goals in 8. Again, not nailed, not particularly good for any other reason, but they've got a nice run coming up. Away to Leeds, home to Man City, home to Millwall, home to Watford, home to Spurs. That is a very nice run after Leeds. 1, 2, 3, 4 games there that are good. Billy Hadaway, can you look at Redknapp? Yeah, just did that. I know you guys are on a delay. How long is Bramble's suspension? 3-match ban starting on the 8th. So he misses Millwall. Millwall, Watford and then Man United in the League Cup. One person I did want to highlight is Torrico, who we know is really good. He's not shown it this season. He now has 4 assists in his last 3 games. Ahead of a nice run. Yeah, he got 3 goals, 7 assists last season, so he's not far off of that, to be fair, if he can add a few more goals. Average rating's not too far off either, so despite him being a decent option last season, I guess he's not too far away this. It's just they haven't come with the clean sheets. That's been the difference, which was a bit of a freak, to be honest, last season. If I go to Ipswich and fixtures... in fact, no, I didn't include this when I said his last few games. So he played an 8 here in a 2-0 loss to Man United. He played a 7 here, home to Coventry, but it was red card effective from the 12th minute. Can't read into that too much. Games before, 9 to assists. Played an 8 versus Blackburn, got an assist. And then in the Cup, played an 8 and got an assist, although it's only Cambridge, so maybe an option. But defence looks a bit ravaged. Bolton are the Ipswich of last year. Yeah, very good point, Ben Baker. They are performing clean sheet wise above and beyond. However, Bolton have just... I mean, let's have a look. They were keeping quite a few clean sheets here right at the start. And now, I mean, I've got double. They kind of disappeared. It's not just that they've disappeared, it's the fact they've been getting pumped as well. So, who knows, mixed bag. They are a lot more solid, but generally season data puts them at something like 50 to 60 goals conceded, if I remember rightly, which they were way off course for. But now they seemingly are back on towards the lower end of that. Okay, who's up next? It is Everton, who have got a really good run. So Radzinski's out for a few days, 90%. Watson is wanted by Newcastle still. David Weir is 1 yellow away from being banned. And Jason McAteer is out for a week with a bruised thigh. He is red injured though. The game is in 2 days, so he could go orange and then play. So that's one to watch out for. Everyone else is fine. Keritos is 100%. So he's had 1 game in the cup, scored and assisted, got a 9. He's 7 million. And like I say, I've seen him do very good. So he's one to watch out for. Andy wanted me in particular to highlight Everton on the stream. They're home to Charlton, which, do I need to tell you that? I mean, that whoever plays, is going to score some goals, I would have thought, or have a very good chance. Watford, Villa, Blackburn, Leicester, Derby. And there's Leeds, admittedly tough, Millwall, Sunderland, Man City. So if we run this whole run here for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the next 10 games, home to Leeds, not great, but at least it's a home fixture. Away to Blackburn, not particularly good. The rest of them are pretty damn good. But it is Everton. So Kevin Campbell, I think, can do a job. I don't think any of the forwards are totally nailed. If I had to bet, I'd say Keritos is now the most nailed because he's been signed and he's come with a reputation, etc. But yeah, they could be worth a go. I think Campbell or Keritos is perfectly fine. I wouldn't be 100% sure who would score more. I say Keritos is slightly more because I think he's probably slightly more nailed. There's Ferguson, but he can't stay fit. My only fear is that sometimes they play 1 up front, Everton. However, it's usually in away tough games like this. And there's none on that run. So we should be having this. I mentioned the league plan at the very start, Mac. I'll go over it at the end again. Are Everton playing Monday then Wednesday? Let's see. They are 2 days apart. Very good spot, Andy. Could be some condition related stuff there. Stamina 16 for Keritos. 17 for Campbell. 10 for Ferguson. Who will score more? Probably Unsworth. Best midfielder punt. Well, I think the best midfielder is Gravison. I mean, he can have incredible seasons. He's not been a 100% nailed. He's missed the odd game. But he is their best option for me. GX is obviously value-wise still very good. He could end up in defence. It's unlikely to play that AMC role in the games that he's got. But I don't hate him at all. Di Matteo's done fine, but it's pretty uninspiring, isn't it? They're probably the only ones I would consider. For me, it would be Campbell or Keritos. I'd be tempted to go Keritos just because he's new and I think he can do pretty well. Unsworth's obviously great for this run. GX maybe. But Gravison's probably that differential. It's almost in that, it's like the Holland kind of pick, isn't it? Where they're generally pretty good and they tick across the season. But can you target them for a nice run of games? Probably so. Just checking no one's messaging me, causing me drama. No. Pembridge or Gemmill? Nah, not for me. They're not 100% nailed and they're shit. I mean, he's done alright in the games he's played, but you just can't chance it. Are you looking for a 1 week punt? Well, I'd certainly look at someone from Everton. I don't think you can go too far wrong. I'd expect like 3 or 4 goals again, to be honest. Just hope you don't pick the Henry amongst them. Best Everton midfielder punt? Yeah, Gravison. Money no object is Gravison for me. Derby. Today, home to Middlesbrough. Nicholson is out for a week with a thigh strain. So that's... we know wingers against Derby. Nicholson plays at right wing back and is actually half handy. He won't be playing. He's up against Alan Johnston then probably. If Alan Johnston plays on the left wing. Something to monitor. Lescott's 1 yellow away from a ban. Everyone else is good. And there has been a transfer in. So they have signed. Who you say? Arnie Goutois Arason from Rosenborg for 800k. He is, however, the Icelandic goalkeeper. His stats are okay. He played in the Cup versus Man United when they played close to a full team. In fact, that is their full team. Poom was on the bench. Was that a new signing bonus? And he just went in and then it reverts back to Poom? I'm not sure. But Starman, whoever has the highest reputation, usually has Starman. And Arason has Starman. So I think there's a pretty good chance that's the end of Poom. No, you say, not the legend Poom, who has been so good for me and has conceded 50 goals in 24 games. Poom's stats are better. His reputation must be pretty high. We can't say for sure. But considering he's coming as Starman and he started straight away, that could be the end. Get to the chopper. So yeah, if you got Poom, I'd be slightly worried there. In fact, so what? Derby they're at home to Middlesbrough. If I go by home form and go down, Derby 13 games, they've won 5, they've lost 8, they've only scored 18, they've conceded 25 at home, which only Charlton have conceded more. So I do think Zepeda, Johnston, Rickard are all very good picks for this week. Eric Nez Odstad. Oh yes, okay. Arsenal legend. Play for the team I support as well. Odds Bal Club? Odd Greenland in the sim. Okay, they changed the name, did they? Didn't realise that. Nice. Game doesn't rate 87 Estonian caps. No. It's only Estonia, to be fair. It's my guy Joel Limpier. The greatest player I ever had in Champ once. This guy was the best player I've ever had of any champ one time, just randomly. And he's generally utter shit. And I can remember signing him for about 5 years afterwards, just in the hope that it would ever happen again, and it didn't. But yeah, one time he was the greatest player I ever had. Right, Chelsea. They play today away to Blackburn. Oh God, I imagine that's low scoring. Petit is out injured, 2 weeks with a twisted knee. A few low percent, but it's mostly the rotated cup players. Zender 95, that's nothing to worry about at all. Melchior wants a new challenge, he's annoyed. Everyone else is fine. Terry and Babiaro Desai, all good. 1 yellow away from being banned is Desai. So centre midfield for Petit, I guess Sam Dalabona, I think they've been throwing in there when this has been the case before. Yeah, imagine Sam Dalabona goes there. Cambizola, a few others, but he seems favourite. Charlton playing 2 days. Walker is 90% a week, probably their best centre back. May play half injured, who knows. Saying he's the best centre back's hardly any praise though, is it, for Charlton? And Dean Kiley is suspended for 2 games. So misses Everton and Arsenal, so it'll be Schwarzer in goal, but it usually is. Everyone else is fine. Frank Leboeuf, has the FA Cup 4th round draw happened yet? Round 5. I shall click it in a sec. I can't remember. Oh, Andy's tweeted it out. Okay. Well, let's not waste time then, because this is already ridiculously long. Bolton. Everyone is gravy apart from Mr. Farley. 2 weeks. They play today. Blackburn. Dun dun dun. Finally a little bit of drama here today. Home to Chelsea as we saw before. So let's start at the top. Solano is out for 2 weeks. Injury proneness is 20 in this game. Finally happened. He's been staying fit for far too long for his own good. Yeah, so that could have knock-on effects because Solano is the one that causes Ronald de Boer to play up front quite a lot of the time as they want to fit him in at right wing. So normally that means now that de Boer would go to right wing if they play that formation, sort of the airplane where he goes up top in most scenarios. However, de Boer is 90% one day with a bruised shin. Now I'm not 100% that keeps him out, but it could do, and they are today as I just said. So de Boer could also be out. He could also start the game orange and therefore is at high risk to pick up an injury. Ideally, you probably don't want to start him against Chelsea anyway, but as he's a midfielder up front and it's a home game, you probably would have. I mean, I would have. So I don't really know what will happen here. Home to Chelsea. Let's see if they played. Home to Leeds. Leeds are a little bit more high rep, but that's the formation they played. So if Solano and de Boer are out, I don't know who they would play at right wing. We'll have a look in a second. I mean, it could be Peralta. Doubt it. They may change up the formation. It's not set that they'll play that. Say Leeds are slightly higher. Would they play versus Arsenal? They played that versus Arsenal. But we know there's a number of formations. Ipswich are 14. They played that. Ludvigsen can play on the right or AMC. Janssen and Bent up top. Could be that. Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. Gillespie, I suppose, could come in. They could even play that formation where they don't really play any wingers. When did they play it last? You know the one I mean. 3 centre midfielders with the 2 centre midfielders pushed out wide. Like that. They did play it fairly recently, I swear they did. Gonna find it eventually. I'm on a mission now. Can you remember the game they played it? Well, they're not going to play that at home. Don't think Chelsea are high enough rep for them to play that at home. Oh, someone put me out my misery and tell me which game it was that they played that. Mother. Here we go. So I suppose they could play that as well. Lasso is suspended for 2 games, so no left back either. 2 guys fined. Adams is a few days 90% orange. And Berg is only 1 game after his red card, so he just misses this one. So their team could be much changed. Let's go to Villa. Villa play tomorrow home to Man United. Obviously a very tough game. Cashlaw is 90%. Balaban is back 100%. Everyone else is fine. And finally, Arsenal. Ahead of a very nice run here. Incredible run. Newcastle, Charlton, Watford, Leicester, Derby. Away to Villa. Home to Blackburn. Home to Man City. Away to Leeds, home to Millwall. Mad run. Lauren, 2 weeks, 32%, so you won't play. Oh, Layla, hang on a second, darling, I'm streaming. You have to come back in a sec. You're on camera. Actually, you're not too little. Yeah, I'll come say hello in a second, pop it. Mummy, yeah? I'm still streaming. Can you just keep them out for 2 seconds? Oh, girls. I'll come and say hello in a second, Layla. You alright? Have a good day. Children. Albertini, 1 month, 88%. Franny Jeffers is tired, 55%. Bless him. He did get injured, so he's recovered from an injury, but he is 55. He plays tomorrow. So what's that? 62, 63? So he's not going to be playing, is he? Nice cat. Where did my cat come into it? Daddy Luke. Yeah, love it. Could you see her on there, by the way? I don't know how high the camera is. Gone all BBC News. Just didn't crawl. Thierry Henry. He's got a bruised rib. 90%. And he's in need of a rest. So he's been ridiculous. And I would 100%... I mean, I probably have bought him last week if I was playing. I say that, it depends what my team was like, right? But I would have liked to have him for the Everton game. Yeah, and now he's orange, 90% with a bruised rib. Now he can play on that, I think, as we know. But you don't know he does. And if he does, he could get injured. Wait, I thought Luke was a single man simulation. Was this all a lie? Big butt Latinas and all. Huh? You haven't seen my missus though, have you? She's not far off that. Omri loves to do this when everyone wants him. He does, doesn't he? He does. It's ridiculous. So can you buy him on that? I mean, you could buy him, he could then not start and be fine. You could buy him, he plays, gets re-injured and it's a waste of a transfer. You could get him, he plays, lasts to 90 or even does come off early, but still manages to bag 2 or 3 goals. It seems like it's a bit of a risk now, doesn't it? But that leads me nicely on to the league again. If you didn't see at the start, for those who missed it, I plan to do press conference this week, which will be interesting. So I'm going to sim the game. I'm going to obviously take some notes on the lineups. Now there could be fuck all going on with the lineups. There could be like, just, you know, this week's one mostly were okay, weren't they? There's a few surprises, but not many. And then I'm going to do like a live chat thing. So like this, I'll just stream. Won't have anything in the background. Or maybe I'll have to find something to put in the background. But maybe I'll just have the game from this week. I don't know. Anyway, we'll come to the particulars. Then on Saturday or Sunday, not sure what times, we'll try and avoid the clash of football. I'll do a live stream and I'll answer some questions. So I might give you some more on some teams, some less on others. So come with some questions prepared. Obviously, we need to try and keep it a little bit realistic, and we'll try to, like real press conferences. So knocks and niggles, stuff like that. You know, quite often you're not going to get an answer if you just say, does this player start? So try to be creative with some questions, join in, we'll see how it goes. You know, so does on replay, for example, might be one I'll look at. I don't know. I'll have to have a think about it, because there's always that balance of spoon feeding, keeping some mystery. So we'll see how we go. Best Arsenal midfielder, says Arthur. I think that's still Perez, isn't it? Pretty sure. Not nailed though, of course. Arsenal versus Charlton in Gameweek 26 after Charlton played 2 days previously. That could be a Rodgering, couldn't it? Let's hope Henry's available for that. Will we be able to ask if Henri is dead then? By all means, I expect some questions on Henri, so I'll try and prepare something. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I haven't thought yet, because until I know what the teams are actually going to do, there's no point me even thinking what I'm going to say or do. Question number 1. Are you pleased with Henri's form? Canu does still want out. Where is he? Pretty sure he does anyway. Yeah. I can quickly go through the tables. So here's overall. Leeds now lead. Charlton rock bottom. Newcastle dropped into it. Level on points with Derby. Home table. Arsenal are now the best home side in the league. Middlesbrough the best home defence in the league, but they've played 2 games less at home. Arsenal and Leeds very strong at home. Middlesbrough, Blackburn, Charlton, Derby, Millwall the worst teams. Lots of teams concede quite a few goals at home though. Should I do a Dean Smith? Do you want me to do a complete lie on a player? I could do that just to mix it up. Doesn't feel like very much in the spirit though. It's harder for that because I will know the scores as well, and I tried to do all of the leaks completely independent of the scores. So that makes it very tough to then lie about a player, especially when you then know his score, because then you can read into that. You know what I mean? If I lie about a player and then he scores a hat-trick, for example, who wins in that scenario? Me, just at the end to go, ha ha ha, you're all bastards? I don't see the point in that. So when I do the leaks, and I'll explain this on the leak video, it is completely independent from the score. So it's almost like, I don't know, let's say you saw, or Delaney, what we said about left wing. Let's say Delaney is left wing and he's attacking and it's a good fixture. That's the only thing that will feature. So I would play him in that scenario. You know, the fact that he gets injured in the 12th minute or gets a red card shouldn't factor into that choice. Away. So these are the best away teams in the league. Man United, Sunderland, Chelsea. See the bias here. The best teams have only managed to win half. I can't see Sunderland's lasting particularly. So Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool. You know, Leeds have only won 4 times away from home. Only played 11 though. Charlton and Millwall, not a single away win. Newcastle, Everton, Villa, all dreadful away. How many floors does Dion Dublin have in his mansion? A lot. Average rating. Harpal Singh at 7.92. You love to hate, but he's a G. An injured G. Sylvester still incredibly high despite his seemingly poor returns. There's attackers. Midfielders, Harpal Singh now number 2. Seth Johnson 9th. Defenders, Terry, South. I own all 3 of them. Lovely. Terry, Southgate, Desai. Doesn't help when they're injured all the fucking time. I don't keep clean sheets. Gareth, I'm looking at you. Goalkeepers, Vesterveld has now assumed that almost given number 1 rank. I don't mean given the goalkeeper. Assists for defenders, Michael Gray still top. Midfielders, Petkoff, Veron, Johnston, 2 guy who's just been ticking over, almost unnoticed. Viduka and Fowler, the masters of assisting up top. Irons. No, sorry, that'd be too much work. Just gonna have to keep it deadpan, one outfit, 1 accent. Unfortunately. Goals for forwards. Van Nistelrooy taking a piss. Phillips still on 17 somehow. All seems to have come in the first few weeks. Boxic, Shearer, Dublin, Viduka, Janssen. Dublin really highlighting his value here. Even though he's not nailed, I don't really see that as a problem. De Boer, Wallace is there. Midfielders, Veronza, Peda, Arca out on top. Defenders, Doherty and Unsworth, ridiculous. Gardner leads the league for dribbles. Is at Kinney, Giggs, Petkov, all there, Zenden. Tackles, Campbell, Tomes, Southgate still. Man of the match, Viduka's now overtaken Cooper. Owens there or thereabouts as well. Penalties, Unsworth with 5. Veron with 4. Even Redknapp's got 3 as well. That's about it. One accent getting cancelled for your Wenger impression. I'm actually not. I don't think I'm too bad at impressions in general, but I have to have heard the person like recently to do it. Quite often. Wenger's tough anyway, isn't it? So that's it, guys. I think that's all your news. That is everything. Quick turnaround for Everton and Charlton. Could be a little bit of rotation condition related there. We'll have to see. Any other questions going before we go? Oh, job security. Joe Kinnear, insecure. Hopefully he gets binned. Or they turn it round and Shearer scores me 100 goals. I'd prefer that. Is there a table with key passes stats? No, there's not. No, there is not. But I wouldn't be surprised if Lordy Leroy on his site, if you go to his Twitter, in his site, some of them you might be able to find that data. Same for Whitebeard, keeps track of things like that. I don't know whether he's got that. The link to Whitebeard's is on the actual site, as in the web browser where you pick your team. I think it's in the links there somewhere. Cheers, Glasto. Cheers, Arthur. There we go then. Good luck, everyone. Oh, Andy's tip was someone from Everton. I think he said GX or Keritos. Home to Charlton. Hard to argue. Who's my tip? I don't even know. Let me have a look. Wingers versus Derby. That's too easy. Millwall versus Watford. That's teasing. Arsenal versus Newcastle. That's easy as well, isn't it? Don't want to be too obvious. I don't know who my tip is. I've got a clue. I don't know. Let's go Alexanderson. Millwall home to Watford. Just showing what he can do. Good game on the wing. There we go. Have that one. Cheers, guys. Enjoy. Pires gone? No, I don't think Pires is gone. No. He's not even wanted anymore. God knows what happened there. Went from 1 Italian club interested to 2 to none. Can change again quickly. See you guys. Enjoyed that. Peace out. Enjoy your day.